In the heart of our modern cities, electric vehicles glide silently through the night, representing the pinnacle of sustainable luxury and high-tech innovation for humanity. Every tap on your smartphone connects you to a global network of information, powered by batteries that promise a cleaner future for our rapidly changing planet. We live in an age of technological marvels, where the tools of tomorrow are delivered to our doorsteps today, wrapped in sleek glass and polished aluminum. But behind this curtain of digital perfection lies a much grittier reality, where the foundations of our energy revolution are pulled from the mud by hand. These rough stones, known as cobalt ore, are the hidden heartbeat of the modern world, yet their origins remain largely invisible to the billions who depend. Inside every mobile device and electric car lies a complex battery system, and at its core is a critical element that makes this mobility possible: cobalt. Known as blue gold, cobalt is the essential stabilizer that allows batteries to store massive amounts of energy without overheating or failing during intense daily use. To find this precious metal, we must travel to the heart of Africa, where the earth has been torn open on a scale that defies imagination. This is the Democratic Republic of Congo, a land of immense natural wealth and staggering human challenges, where 70% of the world's cobalt is buried. Every revolution has a price, and here, the cost of our clean energy transition is paid in the sweat and struggle of those who mine it. While global corporations claim progress, the reality on the ground is a complex web of industrial power and desperate artisanal mining that feeds global demand. This element is more than just a mineral. It is a geopolitical weapon and a scientific miracle that holds the key to a carbon-free future. Yet, as we race toward a greener horizon, we must ask if the path we're taking is truly sustainable for those at the very beginning. The irony is profound. The very vehicles designed to save the environment are often born from some of the most destructive mining practices on Earth. This documentary explores the journey of cobalt, from the dark depths of the Congolese mines to the high-tech heart of the global energy revolution today. It is a story of incredible scientific achievement, immense corporate greed, and the search for a way to power our world without losing our humanity. Every choice we make as consumers sends ripples across the globe, affecting lives in places we may never visit and people we will never meet. Welcome to the journey of cobalt, the blue gold that is both a blessing and a curse for the people of the Congo and the world. In the next 18 minutes, we will uncover the truth behind the batteries in your pocket and the future of our planet's energy survival today. To understand why the Congo holds so much power, we must look back over 1 billion years to a time when the Earth was still forming. Incredible geological pressures and heat forced rare metals to the surface, concentrating them in a unique region of Central Africa known as the Copper Belt. This massive underground treasure chest stretches across the borders of Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo, containing the world's largest deposits of cobalt. Geologists call this a freak of nature, a rare occurrence where cobalt, copper, and manganese are found together in such massive and accessible quantities. Cobalt is transition metal number 27, prized for its magnetic properties and its incredible ability to remain stable under extreme thermal and chemical stress. For centuries, this land remained undisturbed, its hidden riches known only to the Earth, until the arrival of global industry changed everything for the Congo. Since the colonial era, the world has looked to this region for the raw materials needed to build empires, from rubber and ivory to copper. But no resource has ever been as vital to the global economy as cobalt is now as we move away from fossil fuels forever. While cobalt exists in other parts of the world, like Australia and Canada, none can match the sheer volume and concentration found in the Congo. Over 70% of global supply comes from this one country, making the entire world's green energy future dependent on a single, fragile nation. This concentration of wealth has led many to call it the resource curse, where a nation's natural riches lead to instability rather than prosperity. In the shadow of the world's most valuable mines, the people of the Congo remain among the poorest on Earth, living on just dollars. This is the geological paradox. A land that provides the lifeblood of modern technology cannot provide basic electricity or clean water for its citizens. Nature gave the Congo a gift of immense value, but it also placed it in a region plagued by conflict and a history of exploitation. Scientists struggle to find alternatives, but cobalt's unique chemical bond makes it nearly impossible to replace without sacrificing the safety and range of batteries. The demand for this metal is expected to triple by 2030, putting even more pressure on the fragile ecosystems and the people who live here. As prices fluctuate on the global market, the lives of millions of Congolese workers hang in the balance, at the mercy of international trade. From the deep earth to the high seas, the journey of cobalt begins with a geological miracle and ends in the palm of your hand. But before it reaches the factories, we must look into the dark holes where this story truly begins, far from the eyes of the world. This is a cruiser, an artisanal miner, entering a makeshift tunnel that could collapse at any second without warning or any safety gear. With no industrial machinery, these men use only hand tools and their bare hands to claw the cobalt from the earth 30 meters underground. An estimated 40,000 children work in these mines. Their small bodies used to navigate the narrowest tunnels where adults simply cannot fit today. They spend 12 hours a day in toxic environments, breathing in dust that causes permanent lung damage and skin diseases for a few cents. This is the gray zone of the supply chain, where the boundaries between legal and illegal mining are blurred by desperation and systemic poverty. Middlemen buy this ore for a fraction of its market value, often cheating the miners who have risked their lives to find it underground. There are no safety inspectors here, no insurance, and no help if the earth decides to reclaim the tunnel while men are still inside. Every year, hundreds of miners die in collapses that are never reported to the authorities, their bodies often left buried in the very mines. Women and girls also work in the mines, performing the grueling task of crushing and sorting ore while exposed to dangerous levels of radiation. The long-term health effects of cobalt exposure include hard metal lung disease, a chronic and often fatal condition that plagues these mining communities today. Whole communities have been displaced to make room for larger mines, often with little compensation and no place else to go in the Congo. The environmental toll is staggering, as toxic runoff from the mines poisons the rivers that local people rely on for drinking and for fishing. Tensions often boil over between artisanal miners and the private security forces hired by multinational corporations to protect their lucrative mineral concessions. For many, this dangerous work is the only alternative to starvation, a choice no human being should ever have to make in the modern world. The cobalt they mine will eventually power the very cars and phones that are symbols of wealth and progress in the West and East. From these small notebooks, the cobalt begins its journey into the global black market, where its origins are carefully hidden from international regulators. This is where the artisanal ore meets the industrial supply, mixed together in massive warehouses, until the blood and sweat are no longer visible. In the darkness of the mines, hope is a rare commodity, yet the miners continue to dig, driven by the need to feed their families. The human cost of our digital lives is written in the exhaustion of these workers, whose labor is the foundation of the tech industry. When a mine is exhausted, the companies often move on, leaving behind a scarred landscape and a community with no way to support itself. This small rock represents both a day's wages and a lifetime of health problems, a heavy burden for such a tiny piece of stone. As the sun sets over the mines, the first leg of the cobalt's journey is complete. But the moral journey is only just beginning. He tells stories of a time before the cobalt rush, when the land was for farming, before the blue gold changed the world's focus. Even in the midst of such hardship, the human spirit persists, as children dream of a future where they can go to school instead. Every tool tells a story of a struggle against the earth, a battle for survival in a place where the odds are always stacked. The world demands more, and the Congo has no choice but to provide, even if it means sacrificing its own people for global progress. The connection between the mine and the consumer is direct, yet it is obscured by thousands of miles and dozens of middleman transactions today. The promises of corporate social responsibility often feel like a world away from the reality of those living in the shadow of the mines. Industrial mining uses massive power to do in seconds what takes an artisanal miner days, yet both are part of the same global supply. We must now follow the trail of this blue powder as it leaves Africa and begins its transformation into the tech of the future. The journey from the mines to the market begins on the rugged roads of the Congo, where trucks face breakdowns, bandits, and corrupt checkpoints. These drivers spend weeks on the road, carrying millions of dollars worth of cobalt toward the border, their lives also part of the chain. At the border, the cobalt is officially logged and taxed, but much of it is still mixed with undocumented ore from artisanal sources nearby. From African ports like Dar es Salaam or Durban, the cobalt is loaded onto giant container ships bound for the industrial hubs of the world. Most of this cobalt is heading to one place: China, the country that has strategically positioned itself as the world's leader in battery refining. In these massive factories, the raw ore undergoes a chemical transformation, being dissolved and purified into cobalt sulfate and other high-purity chemical compounds. Precision is everything here. The cobalt must be 99.9% pure to be used in high-performance batteries for electric vehicles and for high-end smartphones. China controls nearly 80% of the world's cobalt refining capacity, giving it a dominant grip on the future of the global automotive industry. This industrial dominance has forced Western nations to scramble for their own supplies, sparking a new kind of green Cold War for resources. From this stage on, the cobalt is no longer a dusty rock from the Congo. It is a high-value chemical ready for the factory. The cobalt is mixed with other materials like lithium, nickel, and manganese to create the cathode, the positive electrode of a battery cell. This thin layer of blue-gray material is where the magic happens, allowing the battery to store and release energy over thousands of cycles. Cobalt's job is to keep this structure stable, preventing the battery from catching fire when it is charged and discharged at very high speeds. Quality control is rigorous, as a single mistake in the chemical composition could lead to a dangerous failure in a car or a plane. These cells will eventually be bundled together into the massive battery packs that sit in the floorboards of the world's most advanced electric cars. The cobalt has traveled 10,000 miles to get here, transformed from a Congolese hillside into a marvel of modern chemical engineering today. Now, it enters the final stage of its journey, where it will be integrated into the machines that are changing how we move forever. For the consumer, the cobalt is invisible, hidden behind brand names and promises of a sustainable lifestyle that we all want to achieve. This is the vision of the future: clean, quiet, and efficient. But it is a vision built on a global supply chain of immense complexity. The value of the cobalt has increased 1,000 times since it left the hands of the miner, but the profit remains at the end. As you charge your device, remember that you are tapping into a network that spans continents, connecting you to the heart of the Congo. The Silk Road of cobalt is a modern miracle of logistics, but it is also a path that carries a heavy moral weight today. Welcome to the heart of the revolution. In facilities like this, the energy of the future is being packaged into high-performance battery cells today. These robots work with a precision that no human could match, ensuring that every one of the thousands of cells is perfectly aligned and connected. The battery pack is the most important and most expensive part of an electric car, and cobalt is what makes its performance truly possible today. Each weld must be perfect to handle the massive currents that flow when an electric car accelerates from 0 to 60 in seconds. Without cobalt, these batteries would be prone to thermal runaway, a dangerous chain reaction that can lead to explosive fires in an instant. Cobalt allows engineers to pack more energy into a smaller space, giving cars the long range and fast charging times that consumers now demand. But it's not just cars. Cobalt-based batteries power the data centers that run the internet, keeping our digital world connected and always online. Renewable energy like solar and wind is intermittent. To provide power when the sun isn't shining, we need massive battery storage facilities today. These big batteries are the key to a stable green grid, and they rely on the same cobalt chemistry found in your smartphone or car. In this future, cobalt is the guardian of the grid, ensuring that clean energy is available whenever and wherever it is needed by society. Our modern lifestyle is built on this mobility. The freedom to work and communicate from anywhere is a gift of advanced battery chemistry today. From power tools to medical devices, cobalt-powered batteries are everywhere, improving lives and enabling new technologies that were once impossible for us. But as we produce more batteries, we face a new challenge. What happens when they reach the end of their life after many years? Recycling is the great hope for the future. If we can recover the cobalt from old batteries, we can reduce our reliance on mining. Cobalt is infinitely recyclable. It doesn't lose its properties, meaning the metal in your old phone could one day power your new electric car. This circular model is the only way to make the green revolution truly sustainable, but the technology is still in its early stages today. The transition to clean energy is the greatest challenge of our time, and cobalt is at the center of this epic global struggle. Researchers are working day and night to find alternatives like LFP batteries that don't require cobalt, but they still face significant performance trade-offs today. For now and for the foreseeable future, we are tied to this blue gold, and therefore we are tied to the fate of the Congo. Every one of these vehicles represents a step away from oil, but we must ensure it isn't a step toward further exploitation elsewhere. The convenience of our lives often masks the complexity of the world, but as global citizens, we have a responsibility to know the truth. Power is more than just electricity. It is the ability to change the world, and how we use it will define our legacy forever. The search for an ethical battery has led to the rise of LFP technology, a cheaper and safer alternative that bypasses the cobalt problem entirely. While these new batteries are already used in many standard range vehicles, they still lack the energy density needed for long-distance travel and for aviation. Under pressure from consumers and investors, tech giants like Apple and Tesla are now tracing their supply chains from the mine to the factory. Blockchain technology is being used to create digital battery passports, ensuring that every gram of cobalt is sourced ethically and without any child labor. Some organizations are working to formalize artisanal mining, bringing it into the light where workers can be protected and paid a fair living wage. When done right, cobalt mining could be a powerful engine for development in the Congo, building schools, hospitals, and a future for its people. Companies are starting to invest back into the communities they rely on, acknowledging that a sustainable future must include the welfare of the miners. The goal is simple: to ensure that the children of the Congo are in classrooms, not in mineshafts, learning for the future world. Global recycling rates are rising, with some companies now recovering up to 95% of the cobalt from every battery they process for reuse. This is the ultimate solution: a world where we no longer need to dig new holes in the earth because we reuse what we have. Consumer awareness is the most powerful force for change. When we demand ethical products, the industry is forced to listen and to adapt today. Transparency is the enemy of exploitation. By bringing the supply chain out of the shadows, we can hold every company accountable for their actions. The journey of cobalt is a mirror for our own progress. It reflects our greatest achievements and our most significant moral and ethical failures today. We cannot build a clean future on dirty foundations. The path forward requires cooperation between the global north and the global south for everyone. The blue gold of the Congo is a gift from the earth, and it is up to us to use it with respect and with justice. As we move closer to our goal of a carbon-neutral world, let us not forget the people who made this transition possible for all of. Sustainability is not just about carbon emissions. It is about the health of our planet and the dignity of every human being on it. The technology of tomorrow should empower everyone, from the coder in Silicon Valley to the child in the heart of the Congolese jungle today. We are all connected through the elements of the earth. Cobalt is just one thread in the complex tapestry of our shared human story today. The journey of cobalt is our journey. It is a quest for a better world, a test of our values, and a challenge to innovate. Every small action counts. By choosing to support ethical brands and recycling our devices, we can help build a fairer world for all people. The heart of the green revolution is not made of metal, but of the choices we make today to protect our planet and each other. Let us choose a future where progress doesn't come at the cost of life, but instead brings light to